Good afternoon. Thank you all for having me. Again, my name's Ken Clark from Wyndham, and I'm here to oppose Chapter 117. I'll follow up kind of a lot with what David had to say. To me, it reveals the final step by the government and the DOE to take over my minor child's mind and body. Initially, how I failed the steps, I think there's 4 steps this takes. The first one is to provide books to minors promoting drugs, pornography to children, and frustrate parents and cause them to go against the system. This portrays parents as being controversial and that we should be silenced. This is the book that's in the library in the middle school of Wyndham. I'm just going to read you a quick excerpt. The book is called Crank. It's about the drug crank. My 11-year-old daughter has access to this, and I did not know it. Parents found this in the library. He pulled the bindle from his pocket, tapped the sparkly powder inside, cooked it up fresh yesterday. That's my girl. Let's forget the bullshit and let's fly. Okay. This is a little example of some porn that's in the library my daughter has access to. I'm shaking.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This is completely leading up to what's happening in the school system.
I would like for you to focus on the topic here. I don't
Okay.
want I don't
Fair.
want to go into each individual school.
Okay,
and-
fair enough.
And question what's going on there.
Fair enough.
We're trying to get a sense of how to move forward.
That's where I'm trying to go. I think what this bill does, it prevents the parents from knowing what's going on in the school system. This literature that I found is a result that this is already happening even before the bill is even passed. My daughter has access to this. She couldn't touch him, even
Sure.
when he roamed farther, worshiping her
Sure.
breasts, and my daughter has access to this in the school. So why can't you understand that
I
you guys
do
should hear it here?
understand, But what I'm asking you to do, if we're trying to get a feel for how we are supposed to deal with this, you're asking me to go correct the situation at your school. That is not what's pertinent to me right now.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My point of order is that this is a rules around counselors and social workers in the school. I believe there will be other opportunities to address concerns around pornography and books and et cetera. But if we could have people testifying, focusing their remarks to the rules that are addressing social workers and counselors, I'd be most appreciative. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
thank you.
Okay. Fair enough. There's another book that speaks to the pronouns that David was talking about, that is on the subject of school. Okay. It says, go to the LGBT society. We sit in a circle and go around saying our names, pronouns, he, him, she, her, they, them. How do you want people to refer to you, et cetera, et cetera. I wish people would understand some men have vaginas. Okay. So that's talking about the trans community. So in my school, there's this poster. Okay. My 11-year-old daughter took a picture
Sir,
of
you're
it.
not allowed to use
I did not know it
props
was-
in testimony. I'm sorry.
This poster in my school said that my daughter read, if your gender pronoun or name has changed, you may request an update to your school records. I don't know about this. The name gender change request form is available at this link. They can click on somebody, talk to somebody who I don't know their credentials about her sexuality. My 11-year-old daughter.
Can you wrap it
Your
up,
school
please?
counselor is available
Sir,
if you have
wrap up
questions.
your testimony, please.
I guess you wonder why parents get frustrated. We're trying to tell you what's happening in the school system. This all comes down to this bill that is trying to let the school take control of our children and not inform us of what's going on in the school system. The teachers should get paid a lot more money. I'd recommend they take all this out of the school system and give them the money, because there'll be a lot less counselors needed, because this is messing up the kids. Stick to academics, please.
Thank you. Question,
Guys, I'm getting-
Representative Lyman.
Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is difficult to sit here and try to get through these testimonies. I see them very potentially related. And so my question is going to be for work session, I can't help but say, as a teacher of 36 years, working with guidance counselors, I understand and unfortunately, I'm emotionally connecting at a level I wasn't expecting, because these things are legit and they apply, because counselors weigh in on book selections. My question is that we need to, how are we going to get those of us sitting here to recognize some of the points that are being made and potentially being challenged because they are real. And I'm hearing points of order to challenge some of what's being offered.
Exactly.
But I can tell you, I feel very confident that these are, I'm worried that they're very related to chapter 117. So Senator, I'm just saying that it's not going to hear this now. If they are correlated, and I believe they are, how are we going to make sure in order to make an informed decision when we vote that we have the information?
It is a good question. I feel that our charge when we came in here was to define the role of each of these folks, their job description outlined, and that's what we were agreeing to. If we wanted to go back and question various books and various schools, I think that's not what we're being asked to do here today.
And follow-up would be that part of the role does involve the resources that are used in whatever way that they're interacting with children, and guidance counselors as well as teachers and the support staff do use literature and resources. He just made reference to a link that I get that that's his school, but that's a educational decision made by folks in the field. So I'm pushing back to the question of these testimonies giving evidence to what chapter 117 could potentially, already is, but could potentially allow to happen more. But I hope you understand why I'm asking what I'm asking.
I do, Representative Brennan.
Technically by committee rules, because I presented the bill, I'm not supposed to ask questions, which I'm sure you're grateful for that. But I just want to give a little, one short piece of historical context. There was a bill that came into the committee several years ago that had to do with the work of school counselors and social workers. And it was, the two were confused, and it violated people's licensing ability, and it was very confusing about the rule. So this rule is an attempt to explain the role of school counselors and school social workers within the context of a school. So I think what Senator Rafferty is basically saying, we are going to probably have a discussion at another point about books and other issues in the school. And I understand what you're saying in terms of there's a confidentiality issue, which is very clear in 117. But if we read 117, it lays out what is the roles and responsibilities of counselors as opposed to school social workers. So it's clear how they are distinguished between one another. And I think we've just been trying in this hearing to keep the discussion to those roles within the school. And in work session, we'll have ample latitude and opportunity to go into more detail about that.
Representative Bagshaw.
I'm assuming you looked at the bill before you came
Mhm.
and the rule, and I mean, you drove away and you've been waiting a while, I see. And what was your concern when reviewing the material? What were your concerns?
I think it directly related to my concerns that there are information and resources that my child can go to if they're questioning their sexuality at a young age, and I have no idea what a person is. I talked with a child psychologist who has a PhD, and she's much higher qualified, I'm going to suggest, that I don't know this counselor's qualifications, but I'm going to assume she's far more educated in this field than a school counselor that I can't even talk to. And what she said is the things that, again, are leading up to this movement that David referenced is a child's mind at 11 years old doesn't understand the repercussions of what it takes in. So when they read something like this, that's in the school. And it goes down the road to this transgender, cisgender type of things against gay people. People born that way was like girls. This is a whole new thing that is almost being promoted and okayed by people that I don't feel have the qualifications. And certainly, I don't know who in this room wants to say that they're going to talk to my 11-year-old daughter about their sexuality right now, because it's not right. Is there anyone here that's going to do that? Then we should end this bill right now, right on the floor.
Thank you.
Anything else?